This is a Planet Vero production for Evergreen Media. And now it's time to put you on the spot with EGM.
Hello and welcome to On the Spot with EGM. I'm Jesse Krisky, and today we are talking about Vero Classical Ballet. We are talking about the Nutcracker because 'tis the season, you know, so everybody loves the Nutcracker. And joining us from Vero Classical Ballet is Barry Trammell. Hi, Barry. How are you?
Doing great.
All right, Barry. How long have you been with the Vero Classical Ballet? Tell us about everything.
Hey, hi, I'm happy to tell you about everything. Hey, so I founded the Vero Classical Ballet in 2005. The word classical is in there for a reason because we specialize in classical ballet, specifically the Russian classical ballet. Classical ballet really had its birth in Russia, and initially it was founded in France, but then it really received its sort of due in Russia.
Okay, yeah. And that's where the Nutcracker was born, right?
Exactly.
The tiny amount that I know about ballet and the Nutcracker. I know it's from Russia.
Exactly,
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, production is first done in 1893, and it was actually a failure, believe it or not. It's
Really?
one of the odd historical facts. The production was double billed with an opera, and both compositions were by the famous Tchaikovsky, a brilliant composer. And the complaints about it were they had a child lead. In Russia, they didn't like that. And you had two leads. You had a child lead in the first act and an adult lead, the Sugar Plum Fairy. The first act, of course, would be Clara, the child lead. The second act would be the Sugar Plum Fairy. And so the critics just panned it. They said it was absolutely terrible. And to this day in Russia, they listen to those critics and they do not have two leads. Clara becomes essentially the Sugar Plum Fairy.
Okay. Now, very good. Al, before we get too far into this discussion, let's talk about the upcoming show, when it is, where it is.
Exactly. So it's at the Vero Beach High School Performing Arts Center. Okay, at 1707 16th Street. And the tickets are available for 2 p.m. and the 7 p.m. show. They're both on the 26th Saturday. Tickets will be available at the door starting at 1 p.m. for the 2 p.m. show and 6 p.m. for the 7 p.m. show. Also, you can go to our website, www.veroclassicalballet.com, and it's right there on our homepage. You can get links for the 2 p.m. or the 7 p.m. show. Get your tickets. It goes to tix.com. You can easily select your seats and have a reserve seat. Ticket prices range from $14, $17, and $22 with student and senior discounts available.
Great. All right. And we're looking at the website now if you're watching this online. And that's this Saturday. That's this Saturday, November 26th, 2 p.m. matinee, 7 p.m. evening show. And so we're all excited about that. And so you can go, what was that website again?
It's veroclassicalballet.com. It's just our name and .com.
All right, great. And so, Barry, you also teach at the ballet school. Do you want to talk about that now?
Well, yeah, we started as a school, and since classical ballet is a performance art form, of course, we do performances. Now what we're intending to do is to launch the United Ballet Academy, which is going to be the school arm, and Vero Classical Ballet will be the performance arm of the organization. So we really want to focus on the training on the United Ballet Academy side and then just be completely focused on the performances with the Vero Classical Ballet side, because it really is, training is one thing and performing is another thing. Training is done in a uniform, performances are done in costume. They come together, but you do have to separate the two.
Okay. And is this ballet school, do you have to be referred to the ballet school? Is this for beginners?
Yeah, it's open enrollment. We have classes. We actually start as young as like a Mommy and Me class starting at 2, because the thing is you want to get people in the door to be introduced to your methods of training, to become accustomed and develop relationships in that school. Because a lot of times people will start at a school and they may recognize, say, well, this school may be better for me, but I have all my friends here. My parents now have friends with the parents of the students of the school, and it's difficult to transfer to that new school, even though you recognize maybe the training may be more suited to what your goals are. So we like to try to get them in as young as possible and then continue to training up. For instance, our Sugar Plum Fairy, Riley Green, is now 18. She started with us at age 6, did the lowliest role, a mouse, in the production, which she started, I think, was 2011. And now, of course, she's a Circle Fairy. She's the top lead. I mean, and she's amazing.
Oh, that sounds great. That's fantastic. And so how can people find out more about the school?
Well, like I said, you can go to our current website, VeroClassicalBallet.com, but the new website, UnitedBalletAcademy.net, so UnitedBalletAcademy.net, will be launched in a matter of days. And then when you go to VeroClassicalBallet.com, that will point you, of course, to the United Ballet Academy, so that we really get some traffic to that website. We really want to kind of get a good launch, and just trying to upgrade everything from the studio, the look of the studio, to creating more uniform dress code, and just really trying to upgrade the training in all aspects.
All right, very good. We're speaking with Barry Trammell from the Vero Classical Ballet. I want to get that name correct. Vero Classical Ballet. Now, Barry, you want to tell us a little bit about your background?
Yeah, so, I started dancing kind of late, at the age of 17. It was my last year in high school. And because of that, I had to really not just study hard and train hard, but I had to read a lot. And that's kind of unusual, like in this area, meaning like actually the United States. In Europe, it's more common that maybe they study more about the history of the art form and other details in studying music. But I'm one of the few in the United States that really has studied the music, I play the piano, I play the guitar, I can read a score, and then to study the Russian classical ballet, which is really goes back to the roots of Franz Marius Petipa, who spent most of his life in Russia, never learned to speak Russian. Everyone there had to learn to speak French who worked with him. And he spent from age 29 till he died at somewhere around the age of 93. And he is the father of classical ballet. He's like the Shakespeare of classical ballet. Okay. So that is our heritage. So I traveled all around to study with the people who had that heritage.
Wow, so you're well traveled, you're well studied, and now you're teaching.
Yes, exactly, and still performing.
I'm
55, but it's hard to get those male dancers. I have to keep in shape and still perform. I lift weights, I train hard, and I'm still performing. It keeps me young, so I don't mind it.
That's great. And so you're a part of Nutcracker.
Absolutely. I play the role of Drosselmeyer, and then I also have to dance with the Snow Queen and the Circle Fairy. So I'm doing a lot.
You are doing a lot. Very
and my
good.
son is actually in production. He is the Nutcracker who fights with the Rat King.
Okay.
So it's kind of a family affair.
Great. All right. So tell us when the Nutcracker is and where it is and how do we get tickets? Yeah.
So to come back to that, let's talk about, so one of these days. To come back to that, it's VeroClassicalBallet.com. Okay, we can get tickets at VeroClassicalBallet.com. We're performing at the Vero Beach High School Performing Arts Center, and you can get tickets at the door as well. There will be tickets available. You come at 1 p.m. up to 2 p.m. for the 2 p.m. show, and you come from 6 p.m. up to 7 p.m. For the 7 p.m. show to get tickets at the door. And also, of course, VeroClassicalBallet.com, the Vero Beach High School Performing Arts Center, which is 1707 16th Street. Everyone can see the high school stadium, so we all know where that theater is.
That's right. All right. Very good. And that's this Saturday, November 26th.
Yes.
And that's VeroClassicalBallet.com. And so is there anything else that we need to talk about that we haven't hit on yet?
Well, what I really like to talk about is it's a classical production. It's a traditional production.
Okay, yeah, good point.
And so the music, for instance, in the first act is actually, a lot of the sections are Baroque music. So like, for instance, if I was dressed in a Victorian garb, Victorian attire, that would not match the time period. In that first act, then you'd have a lot of waltzes, because, of course, in the Victorian era, they love their waltzes. This music is Baroque. It's pre the classical period, the waltz period, of music, as far as classical music. And so we have the attire, and we wear the wigs. We do everything that's appropriate to that time period.
Yeah, so you can see on the video screen here these period specific costumes.
You can see my wig.
Yeah.
Now, and the
great.
second act is a fantasy scene, so they probably all fantasized back then about not having to wear wigs. So we lose the wigs for the second act. It's a fantasy scene.
And how many people are performing? Did we talk about that yet?
We have over 30, and its age ranges from 3 playing a role of a mouse. We have a couple of 3-year-olds. And they're adorable. And then up to, trying to think, I may be the oldest in the production at 55. I don't know if we have anybody older than me. But yeah, it's up to at least 55 and as young as 3.
Well, that's a large cast.
Yes.
The costumes look great. The set design looks amazing. Can't wait for the show.
Neither can I. It's exciting. You're always a little nervous, but if you're not nervous, something's wrong.
There you go. Exactly. Barry Trammell from Vero Classical Ballet, thank you very much. And remember, November 26th, that's Saturday coming up, 2 and 7 p.m. Go to veroclassicalballet.com for the tickets. And we'll see you there, right, Barry?
Oh, yeah. Please come. You really will enjoy the show.
All right. Very good. All right. Thanks for joining us on the Spot. I'm Jesse Krisky. And until next time, take care, everybody.